Hello guys, this is Team Lemonade. Today we have Reggie Liu, Elena Jai, me, Hao Yangqing, and Jamie to talk to you about our TMS evaluation project and selection project for DJI. Let's get started. Here we have our agenda today. We'll do a quick little introduction to DJI and our project. Then we will go through our client selection, client requirement analysis, and then our TMS candidate. After that, we'll talk about our project test and scorecard involved in this project. Eventually, we'll come up with the conclusion. So first thing first about our client DJI, it is a Chinese-based tech company that manufactures UAVs, the drones, and it involves the manufacture of hardware, software, and it has a global reputation of making drones of great technology and great quality. For the key requirements of DJI, we came up with the following six points. First, locale. Second, data security. Third, support for subtitles. Fourth, support for web pages. Fifth, support for software UI. And sixth, customized workflow. For locale, because DJI is an internationalized company and sells products to many countries and many locales, that's the TMS must cover all the locales that DJI needs. And secondly, DJI developed cut-edge technology capabilities in terms of drones, so data security would be very important for the company. And thirdly, we discovered that DJI has videos, web pages, and softwares which is used to control the drone and developed by DJI themselves. And subtitles are for videos that guides you how to use the drones. The web pages is the center for DJI to distribute and market their product. And finally, for the workflow, because DJI has so many different file formats and different content, it is very important to have a customized workflow for each type of them so that the internationalization strategy can work.
So hi, I would like to talk about some of our top TMS candidates for this project. We're a group of four, and for DJI, we decided to look at the eight TMS here. They're all top of their industry, they're very top-notch, and they have a great reputation for that, it seems. So we first looked at Transvex. It has a great centralized translation memory, integrated MT, streamlined collaboration, preview functionalities for HTML and videos. Preliminarily, it seems like a good fit. And next, we looked at Localese. It is very well known for its streamlined workflow, preview functionality, specifically for apps for iOS and Android, which is I'm not sure that is something we need for this project. There's also automated project creation and resource allocation, as well as document version history. Seems like a great feature, but it turns out it doesn't support video format. So I'm afraid we're going to have to pass on Localese. And the third one that we'll look at is WordBee. It says it's best suited for enterprise translation, which is what caught our eyes initially because DJI is a huge enterprise. It's a big company. So I feel like maybe this would be the TMS we would need for an enterprise on this scale. And moving on, we talked about SmartLink. SmartLink is very similar to TransFX in the sense that there's workflow automation, integration, linguistic access management, and quality control. It just seems like your average TMS that doesn't really stand out to us. And the fifth, we looked at one of our initial benchmarks, an MOQ, which we've had experience studying and also practicing during class. Offers great collaboration for linguists and managers, it seems, and also there's smart TMs and terminology bases, and also advanced automation for efficient workflow. And lastly, we looked at OnTrend, which is the project management suite with a workflow builder. We are pretty impressed with its ability to integrate with MS Office and also CMS, and there's also a great product information system, but I'm afraid it also does not support video format, which is a pretty huge component in our DJI project. So as that being said, there are some TMS that don't support the video formats that we talked about. There are some that just don't quite stand out to us, like TransFX, SmartLink, and MemoQ. And that is why at last we decided to rate WordBee which is best suited for enterprise translation, to XCM, our old friend that we talked about a lot during class this semester as one of our benchmarks. So next, we're going to be rating them and comparing them on the following criteria.
Thank you, Elena, for talking about all the TMSs we have discovered. And eventually we settled on XTM and WordB to make a comparison to see how that works. XTM is our control group, which we have learned, and it is very welcomed by the industry. And WordB is a new TMS we chose to test on. So you can see, according to the scorecard here, WordB somehow outperformed XTM with 1 point higher in terms of the average score. XTM outperformed WordB in terms of data security, vendor management, and workflow customization. Well, for WordB, it has outperformed XTM in terms of UI friendliness, cost of license, support for subtitling, and support for a different locales. And next, we will have our teammates to talk in details about each section of our pilot project and state their analysis of the result.
Thank you for passing it to me again. Yeah, now I would like to talk about our considerations in terms of data security when we're rating and comparing the two TMSs together. We decided to rate a WordB 3 and XTM 5. This is because they both have security perks such as can prevent file downloads. They have roles and access rights to edit. They also both have user activity logs, but it just turns out that XTM has much more security guarantees that we need for DJI. In the sense that there is a ISO 27111 certification, which for those of you who don't know what that is, it is actually a long-standing cybersecurity framework developed by the International Organization for Standards. We feel like that would be a great use to prevent data leaks, and this would be a great certification to have. It also prevents MT use, and also it requires two-factor authentication and authorization when you start using the TMS. And lastly, the XTM also provides SOC2 Type 2 compliance. This seems like, in our professional terms, to explain that, in short, it defines the criteria for managing customer data based upon the 5 trust elements, which are security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy. And there are 2 types of SOC reports. And we're talking about Type 2 in this instance, which details the operational effectiveness of the TMS system for XTM. The whole point of this is to build a culture of information security and diligence, and we feel like for a company with lots of data logs like DJI, we probably need to have as much security guarantees that we could possibly find. And next, I'll be talking about management of vendors, whether it is easy, whether it's difficult, are there obstacles that it poses when we're looking at the 2 systems preliminarily. And we decided finally to rate XTM 4.5 and WordB a 5. There's actually not much difference when it comes to their management vendors from the website, it seems. The only 0.5 difference is because WordB has one additional feature compared to XTM. To start with, they both have great automation of vendors, which means they have first come, first served job allocation. They have job market research. They have project sharing feature. They also have vendor profiles and also vendor quality dashboards for companies to look at too. And also vendors can log in to review past available work, and they can also upload invoices to the tool. But the reason that we decided to rate WordB slightly higher is because there's one additional feature compared with XTM, which is automated vendor selection based on rules and quality score. We feel like automation would be the way to go when it comes to selection of vendor in the sense that if there's a lot of vendors, you probably need that first screening preliminarily to see which vendors should be in your basket. And that's why we decided to rate WordB a 5. And next, we'll be moving on to talk about the cost of TMS license and the pricing of doing this TMS. And we'll be starting with XTM, which we rated a 3. We looked at the pricing chart, and it seems like maybe the XTM isn't that suitable for such large enterprises. From the website, it seems like the translator's pricing stands at 17 euros a month, and team pricing stands at 32 euros a month. But for the group account, they do offer an option that says for groups have over 50 users, price stands at around 20,000 euros to 50,000 euros a year, which doesn't seem that competitive of a price. They also provide options for API, which is up for special discussion and specific price depending on what connector you want to use. This doesn't seem that ideal, so we'll be moving on to WordBee. And on the other hand, WordBee, we decided to rate a 4 out of 5. This is because, as we've talked about before, WordBee is best suited for large enterprises, and we just think it would make sense for it to be built annually once we decide to work with it. And it does offer an option for small and medium businesses. The price stands between 3,100 euros or 34 USD dollars per year. But for large enterprises like DJI, they offer special prices. It's up for negotiation and subject to discounts offering features. We feel like upon the list of features that I'm going to be talking about, DJI will benefit immensely from collaborating with WordBee. They have features such as unique tailor upon enterprise request. They have translation editor, TM, access to MT and MT Hive. They have advanced management. They have a global search and workflow automation. They also provide business intelligence reports such as end-to-end analytics and business intelligence. So we feel like this is a much more comprehensive list of features that it provides based on their pricing descriptions, and which is why we feel like WordBee should be rated slightly higher than XTM, which is why we decided to give it a 4.
Thanks, Alina. Next, I'm going to talk about the workflow customization that compared between XTM and WordBee. XTM has been scored as 4 and WordBee has been scored as 3.5. XTM has a more detailed and specific workflow configuration with a greater variety of settings and increased proactivity. But WordBee has a flexible options, user being able to customize and define the tasks, jobs, for example, translation, revision, layout, and etc. during the required to implement a project. For user friendliness, XCM has been scored 4 and WordBee has been scored 5 because XCM has the setting options are specific and detailed, but the interface is outdated, making it really inconvenient to use. But WordBee has a clear and concise interface with numerous options that need further categorization to enhance user experience. Finally, they both support numerous local languages, but WordBee has more local languages than XTM. Therefore, XTM has been scored at 3.5 and WordBee has been scored as 4.5 because XTM supports over 200 languages and WordBee supports more than 50 languages than XTM, which is it supports over 250 languages. Next, I'm going to pass to my colleague Reggie to further talk about our pilot project launching.
Thank you, Jane. So we tried our pilot project, but when I upload the files, I find that WordBee doesn't support batch uploading, so I have to upload all the files one by one. I also tried to zip all the files in a zip and upload the zip, but it cannot read the zip, but I can extract the files in the zip. However, the file was a Chinese, it was named by Chinese, but it cannot read Chinese. So I guess I still have to upload one by one. Since DJI has many marketing videos for localization, so we first tested both system support for subtitles like SRT or ASS. So same as XTM, WordBee can also manage several subtitle formats with its default configuration, which will recognize all the formatting elements and styles of subtitle files. What WordB interested me was that it provides an in-context, on-screen preview of the caption. So the video preview module is built into the translation editor, so you can load each translation job or project with a video player. So you can add a local video or clip or from any online repository like YouTube or other links as shown in the picture. As you can see in this demo, as you click some segment, the player will turn to the corresponding scene at that exact time. The example here is a local video, but also you will be able to upload any online videos. However, it is a caption, it's not a embedded subtitle, so it will be displayed in its default layout and style. It allows you to accelerate or delay some seconds to offset the timestamp timeline, but it will not change the actual timestamp. You will still have to change the timeline in a subtitle application, I guess, but anyway, it just provides a video preview of captions. Also, we've tested some web page formats, but HTML files is a little bit, might be too complicated to parse by the default configuration. So we may have to set up corresponding configuration for many HTML files. And one more thing about WordB is the B-box. It is kind of a connector between the client's CMS and our TMS. So it can connect the B-box to the CMS and create a project on our TMS, and we can prepare the project. And when the client approves the quote, we can just start our project. And once the project is completed, we can while it's in progress, the client can be able to do a live preview anytime. And when the whole project is completed, the B-box will pushes all the locale back to the client's CMS for publishing.
Thank you, team, for talking about the detailed specification in the scorecard. Now we have the conclusion for our project, the TMS evaluation project. So first, we think WordB would generally be a good choice for TMS for the company DJI. XTM is also a solid choice that I've seen popularity in the past few years, and it is still growing today. Well, despite different advantages that these two tools have displayed during our project, both tools have some drawbacks that may be compensated with some pre-processing work, and that might be something that the company will need to focus on once the tool is settled down. Now that wraps up our presentation for the TMS evaluation and selection project. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot an email into our email box listed here. We're very open to questions, and thank you for listening.